Royal apartments, the queens and the kings. In the east wing, it's the west wing and the east wing here are private royal apartments. We don't walk inside, we just look from outside and see the queens first and then the kings. Okay, we can pass by on the palace, and I think it is something very, very, very interesting. I think it is a highlight, maybe the highlight. I'm talking about the water system of the palace. That's very important. Water system 4,000 years ago. You see, nothing is new. And we're going to see, I'll show you, after the queens and the kings is the water system. I'm going to show you pipes to bring the fresh water in here, and also part of the drainage system to take the rainwater out. And that was 4,000 years ago. Very interesting. I think it's the highlight of the whole area. So we walk south and now we take left, which means east. The queens and the kings apartments, very busy. The royal family, a lot of visitors. Somebody asked for the dolphins.
Oh, let me see.
I will come around. So when we come the stairs down, you will keep left and you come outside the so-called queen's apartment, the queen's private apartment. And then the next one around the corner, that's supposed to be the king's private apartment. So supposed to be the queen's and supposed to be the king's. And I say supposed to be and supposed to be because, of course, when they started excavations here, there were no signs on the walls giving us the information. Everything is because of the size, you know, how small, how big, the decoration, of course, and what they found in each apartment. So when they saw this one here, said, wow, it's so beautiful. It's small, but it's so elegant. The bright colors, the beautiful decoration, the dolphins and the other fish. And the spirals and the flowers and dancing girls on the wall. So they say, yes, okay, this might be a lady's apartment, the queen's. And then they saw the next one, which is much bigger, but having very, very simple decoration, and they said, this might be the king's. So simple, so simple. You know, such a big palace, so many rooms, and we say queens, kings, sanctuary, the storeroom, whatever. For what we are 100% certain what it was 4,000 years ago, it's only for 3 places only. The one is storage, clay pots, remains of food. What else? Storing food there. The other one is the throne room. The throne, so clear. It's a throne room. And the third is the theater. That one will finish later. The theater of the palace. Steps, seats, where the people were sitting. A paved area in front, which means maybe the stage. It reminds us of a theater. So only for these 3 we're 100% certain. Only. All the others supposed to be maybe one of the theories, and they say, you know, this is how we talk about what we see.
How did we know the name of the king? Did we know the name of the queen?
Yeah, we know. Pasiphae. Pasiphae, which means all shining. This is what the name Pasiphae means. We know that these names from the ancient writers. The names we know.
The queen? We don't know the queen's name?
Pasiphae.
Oh, her name is
Pasiphae. Oh, for the queen. The queen.
Oh,
Pasiphae. Minos and Pasiphae.
Minos and Pasiphae.
The couple. Under the wall painting of the dolphins, you will see two doorways. The one left is the way to the king's apartment, and behind the second one, there's a staircase leading up to the next floor. So to assure that the queen's apartment was not only what you will see down here, but even on the top, on the first, or even on the second floor. And this is exactly what you will see, as I said, when you look from the doors, from the windows. Exactly this. Left in here, in the corner. There's a very small room with a big window and a doorway. But as I said before, because we don't walk in, you won't see what they found and still is inside this small room.
Oh, the bath.
Yeah.
Oh, let's see.
This is, I start from here.
Ensuite.
This is what they found and still
Is
is
in there. Oh, wow.
in that small room.
That is so
A
cool.
real bathtub.
It's a real bathtub. And the shape, it's a real shape
Yeah,
of a bathtub. Like ours. I come around, don't worry. It is clay, the material, found in pieces and put together. And it is small. Yeah, Minos were not very tall people, actually. Small people. 1 meter and 50, 60, which means 4 or 5 feet tall. So the bathtub
My
the
size.
size is, let me say,
5.
something like that. This is the size. But it's a real bathtub in her bathroom. Such a civilization. Everything.
Imagine that.
Yeah. Okay. So behind the columns. When we walk from the side, you will see, you can realize the size of the king's apartment. Behind the columns, the black columns. It is quite big, very big. But very simple decoration in the king's. What I want to talk about here is about another characteristic of the Minoan architecture. And I'm talking about the doors, about the many doors the apartments had. Remember the throne room up there? There were 4 doors, the one next to the other. The king's, we see 3 now, 1, 2, 3 doors, doorways, but all from the 3 sides are 11. 11 doors. There are 3, 1, 2, 3, 4 from the right side, another 4 from the left side. So all together, the one next to the other. 11 doors. This is the so-called polytheron system. Polytheron. Poly, it means many. Thera, it means doorway. So polytheron, many doors in a row, the one next to the other. And what else they say about the polytheron? They say that this was the Minoan air condition system in that period. And let me say, in the summer, doors, windows, all open, fresh air, nice breeze. In the winter time, they were using skin of wool. Skin of wool to cover all these doors and windows. The skin of the bull first, very well shaved. They had razors, by the way, they found. So first, the skin of the bull, well shaved, to become in that way very, very thin. In that way. And then the very, very thin skin into the olive oil. Into the olive oil. So in that way, they made it a bit translucent by the light. No glass in that period, too early, but in that way they had some kind of glass to cover all these doors and windows in the winter time. So you see how brilliant and genius everything.
People over here. Sorry.
Same way out. So we just join the line. We walk in there to see the queens, and then we meet here in the corner, and we pass by the king's apartment with the many doors. Continue way out for the highlight for the water system up here. So those, if some of you they don't want to stay in the line, it's a good.
Okay.
Where I'm standing, you're going to see the pipes for the fresh running water. Fresh running water coming from springs south of here. And there was a piping system to bring the fresh water all over. The pipes you will see under the grill down here are original, made of clay, 4,000 years old. And what is also very, very interesting, they are not very long pipes, they are short pipes. And you will see, the one end is smaller, the other is bigger, and the one pipe fixed inside the next one, so that the water had more pressure to come up here. So that gives more pressure to the water to come up here. Fresh water in, the clay pipes, I repeat, under the grill, right here where I'm standing. Rainwater out, and there are stone or clay channels to bring the rainwater out. Very clear is the stone channel here to take the rainwater out. And before we go, we keep coming up. Before we go, I'd just like to show you from here, it's a nice spot I think, the most photographed place of Knossos, which is that balcony right opposite with the red columns. It's the north entrance of the palace. You keep coming up and we walk stairs up and I continue talking about So northwest corner, and it's the theater of Knossos. When we came in the morning, we stopped right on the top, behind those pine trees. It's the western court, right behind the pine trees there. So northwest corner, and you can see the two wings of steps. Room enough for about 400 people on the steps, about 400 people. In the corner, where the other people are standing. So there where these people are standing now, the square floor. This was the royal box. It's a little bit higher. A little bit higher. So better view of the stage, which is down there, the stage of the theater. And interesting to see here at Knossos, in the theater of Knossos, the oldest paved road in Europe. It's here. The oldest paved road in Europe starts from the very first step down there, right in the middle, and you see continues all the way. Today it comes under the new road, the road we came here, and goes right opposite to the little Palace of Knossos. On the other side of the new road, opposite the parking place, and I'll show you when we go back in the bus, are the ruins of another Minoan building. Small, but looks royal. That's why we say the little Palace of Knossos. A prince or a priest living there. And they believe that processions were starting from the little palace, coming all the way here, maybe first appearing in front of the king. They offered him presents, offerings, things like these, and then they had the dances and games and celebrations and music in the stage of the theater. Just go back in time and use your imagination. Only 4,000 years ago. That's all. That's all. You see the ruins left there. As I said, we say Little Palace of Knossos because it's small but royal. And this beautiful head of the bull on your ticket,
It's over there.
a vase in the shape of a bull's head, that was found there in this little palace. So royal, something royal. Remember, by the west entrance in the palace, on a stone, we saw the religious symbol of the Minoans. Here it is, found it.
The axis.
Yeah, the double-headed axe, A-X-E. We saw engraved on a stone. As I said, it's not the only one, the one we saw, but a big number in the whole palace. Religious symbol for the Minoans. But what was at the beginning and how or why it became a symbol? In the very beginning, the double-headed axe was a tool.
A tool.
That was a tool the Minoans were using to sacrifice the bull.
Oh, the bull, okay.
That sounds better.
Oh, yeah.
The bull, after the bull game, after the bull fighting. This is a very famous wall painting, fresco, found in there in the palace, and shows the game, the very dangerous game, religious too, of the Minoans. The bull game, the bull dancing, the bull galloping, as you see, and acrobats leaping over the bull. It's a very dangerous game. The bull was important, strong, symbol of fertility as well. So the tool they were using to sacrifice the bull after the bull game was also something very important for them. Because of the bull, the double-headed axe became something important became a religious symbol for them. I used to say an example about that, just an example. Like us today having the cross. The cross, it is a symbol for us, for the church today. The double-headed axe, another symbol in another period for some other people. Just an example. The ancient name of the double-headed axe is Lavris. Lavris. L-A-V-R-Y-S. Lavris. That's the ancient name of the double-headed axe. And because in the Palace of Knossos they found so many double-headed axes, or so many lavris, they also used to say the Palace of the double-headed axes, or the Palace of Lavris. You found it. Or, say it,
Labyrinth.
the labyrinth.
The
labyrinth. The word labyrinth, the very famous labyrinth, we all heard, read, comes from the word lavris. In fact, there's no a very special place in there, or maybe under there, to be a labyrinth. The whole palace is the labyrinth. The whole palace reminds us of a labyrinth, especially in those days. Remember, with 13 or even 1400 rooms, small but so many, and these long and dark corridors, they say easy for somebody to walk in, but impossible to find the way out without help. That's why they call it labyrinth. And the myth with Ariadne, the princess, the daughter of King Minos. She was the one who helped Theseus, the prince who came from Athens, to find in there, in the so-called labyrinth, the very famous Minotaur, bull's head, human body. That was just a nice story. A story, a myth, to explain the mystery of the Grand Palace of Knossos. And mythology says that every year 7 young boys and 7 young girls were coming from Athens, and that was the food. Yes, not good. The food for this half man and half bull. But even this might be symbolic. Symbolic of the taxes or tribute the Athenians paid to the Minoans in that period. We know that the Minoans were very peaceful people, but we also know that the Minoans were traveling all around the Mediterranean, from Spain to Sicily, Peloponnese, Cyprus, Syria, all around here, but only for trade, to import and export goods. Trade, always very important, always. So you can imagine, so many years ago, 4,000 years ago, a big number of Minoan ships in the whole area around Crete, up and down, bring things. That was a power. In that way, they say, were the ones to control the whole area around Crete, the masters of the whole area around Crete. And what was the trade 4,000 years ago? Let's say they used to export olive oil, wine, honey, pottery, even wood was exported in that period. And they used to import gold and ivory from Egypt, Syria, Mesopotamia, from Cyprus, copper, from Spain, silver. That was the trade of the Minoans 4,000 years ago. And that played a very important role. I guess it is a reason, or one of the reasons, that this civilization flourished so much. Trade, traveling. And number one, and why the trade? Why traveling? The position of Crete, right in the center, in between the 3 continents of the ancient world, in between Asia, Europe and Africa, right in the middle, it's Crete. Strategic, very important position, key point, crossroad. So that played an important role from the very beginning, till now. And Crete, which is, of course, a Greek island. It's the largest in Greece, the 5th largest in the Mediterranean, and the 88th in the world. Just for this information, we are the number 88 for global. Heraklion is the capital of the whole island. Heraklion, the city here where we are right now, the largest city on Crete, having a population of about 170,000 inhabitants. The population of the whole island of Crete, about 700,000 inhabitants. It's a quite big island, and it's a combination of many different things, let me say. Big cities, big villages, small villages, mountains, rivers, lakes, nice beaches, about 600 nice beaches on Crete, sand beaches, crystal clear water, climbing the mountains, snow on the mountains, flowers in the valleys. Springtime is the best time. Fortification. Remember, for a long time here, about 4.5 centuries, the Venetians, 1210 till 1669. We saw some of those monuments left by them, but the most important and the strongest in East Mediterranean is the fortification, the city walls. It took 100 years, 1 century, to build this fortification, 3.5 kilometers long, in the shape of a triangle, 7 bastions around the walls, and on one of them, on the so-called Martinenko bastion, is the tomb of a great man, an author, a writer. His name is a long Greek name, but I'm sure most of you know at least on one of his books. Film as well, music. Zorba the Greek? Of course, I was sure. Zorba the Greek, Last Temptation, Freedom and Death, Odyssey, and so many others. Nikos Kazantzakis, his name. Born in a village nearby Heraklion in the 1882, died in West Germany in the 1957, buried here in Heraklion on the city walls. His tomb is very, very simple, having a wooden cross, and under there is a stone with an inscription on it, and this inscription is one of his philosophies. It says, "I hope nothing, I fear nothing, I am free. Nothing to hope, nothing to fear, I am a free person." It is a philosophy. It's written on his tomb. His books have been translated in more than 40 languages. So he's very, very famous all over the world. And Zorba the Greek is a very famous one. The film as well, with Anthony Quinn, Irene Papas, Alan Bates, made in West Crete in the 1950s. And soon we'll be back there. Hopefully you had an interesting morning. Hopefully I gave you some information. Our best wishes for your holidays, and of course a nice trip back home. All the best to all of you. Good appetite.